Hey everyone, welcome back to CryptoCache. Thank you so much for joining me here. I hope you're having a fantastic day. Happy Saturday to you and your family. We're taking a look here at Luna Classic again. This is going to stay on the radar for a little while, just until, obviously it tapers off or I get less requests. It's been a big one, of course, for not just my community, but also obviously my subscribers. So thank you so much for requesting. If you're new to the channel, just know I'm not a financial advisor. I love teaching people to trade. I truly hope you can learn something here today. If you do, comment below, like, subscribe, all that wonderful stuff. If you want to become a better trader, CryptoCache.tech is a site. I have a trading academy community where we all learn and grow together. And of course, I send out signals for the trades that I take so you can kind of learn and how to structure your trades effectively. So again, check that out in your own time. Taking a look here, of course, at Luna Classic. So as I mentioned yesterday, we kind of got rejected off of 70 on the RSI, and it was on its way back down. Well, it wicked all the way down to 0.5, big surprise, and it came right back up again. Okay, so again, 0.5 is a very common area in which you'll see the price action retrace when you have a parabolic-ish type of movement. Okay, and I say parabolic-ish because obviously it was a moderately healthy increase, but it was also fairly abrupt, right? With that this increased amount of volume. And what's great about this too here is you can see with this candlestick here, that closing kind of essentially as a doji candle, we had an increased amount of volume, allowing the price action to stay in place. So regardless of all the nonsensical bull stuff that's coming on or going on with Bitcoin right now, Luna Classic doesn't care. It's like, what bear market? Well, I don't even give a ish, right? So anyways, that being said, if we take a look at a handful of other factors here, we can see that basically the moving averages are below the price action. So obviously it's going to continue to work as a support level. That's fantastic. So the daily, honestly, it doesn't look terrible. It's nice that it looks, it's starting to kind of give us this ascending type of pattern because the likelihood of a breakout to the upside would be higher because of it. Okay, I'm not saying to go all in on Luna Classic. It's probably a terrible idea because this coin is, of course, kind of an ugly child of what happened in the past, if you're familiar with that. But regardless, still something to recognize. Okay, it has a lot more volume. We can see a tremendous amount more volume now than there was previously, and that's very important to recognize. And with increased volume, allows for volatility to occur, but it also allows for patterns to fulfill themselves. In other words, we have this ascending type of pattern that's occurring here, where we could likely see a breakout to the upside in the next 24 to 48 hours. If it were to break out, of course, once again, 14.5 is effectively the next key level resistance, along with 16.1. We touched on 16.1 yesterday, but generally speaking here, right around 14.5, that'll be the first initial rejection point if it were to come up here and break through. Okay, or at least we'll have some resistance there per se, because there's obviously a lot of resistance back here. So that's kind of where we're at there, above all moving averages here too, and you can see how the 20-day SMA is working concurrent with the actual trend line. And it's interesting how this works, but the 50-day simple moving average on the daily is commonly a trend setter, and so is a 20 on the 4-hour. Oftentimes you'll see that, at least for shorter term increases, it run concurrent there. So again, that's a positive sign. We're also extremely overextended on the RSI, but as I mentioned previously, when you come this far up on the RSI, it has a tendency of using that as a support level. Okay, so it's using that relative strength of the market and the increased volume as a catalyst to continue to keep the price action higher. So it seems very sensible that it will actually come up from here. It seems more likely than not in that regard. We take a look at TD sequential, we're at a 6 right now, so we've been basically 6 4-hour candles to the upside, which is perfectly fine. It really just implies we might have another 12 hours of continuation to the upside. Again, emphasis on might, because you never truly know, but it is absolutely something to kind of think about. And if we look here, of course, you saw this previous attempt got rejected and then the price came back down. That's a very standard behavior for most coins. Okay, again, when you have that second push up, it gets rejected at resistance. What's interesting though is that we're still making an ascending type of pattern here, because it seemed likely that the price was going to want to try to retrace from there. But it didn't come all the way down, and that's fantastic. Let's take a look at the cloud, kind of see where we're at here, and this is definitely better than it looked yesterday. In other words, even though the lagging span is almost intersecting with the price action, and a long position wouldn't necessarily be all that recommended based on the cloud itself, other factors are present telling us that it could and likely should continue higher. Again, it's overextended. It doesn't make sense that it would, but that's how cryptocurrency works a lot of times. That momentous uptrend just continues for a lot longer than it should in some cases, and there's no other coins really taking as much market capitalization out of the market as this one. And that is an important thing to recognize too, with all the increased volume. So that being said, we're above the actual cloud itself, the upper and lower lead. So essentially the price action got rejected right here. Big surprise, it's on a trend line. Oftentimes when you see the trend line and the clouds intersect, they work positively with each other. So that's a good sign there. We can also see the conversion line and the baseline are kind of together, implying that we're losing momentum to the upside. So again, I'm not saying to take a long position because honestly, it would be fairly risky, but it does feel like it wants to continue higher, even though we have a lot of other signs telling us that it may just kind of fizzle out. All right. So again, if it doesn't commit in the next 12 to 24 hours to the upside, then we should expect further downside. So I'll just basically I'll keep a closer look at this here as we progress throughout the weeks, and just make sure that we keep a close eye on this. But it does feel like it wants to break to the upside. It just kind of has that pattern and those things there. But again, patterns have a tendency of repeating themselves, but they don't have to, right? So please take this with a grain of salt. A long position is not necessarily recommended, but neither is a short either. It's kind of one of those indecisive moments until it breaks either way. What I'd like to see is a break to the upside, and then of course it comes back down to retrace and essentially consolidates right at this previous resistance, right at 13,200, and then uses that as a support level. That's a case in point where you want to add to your position, and then the price action goes higher. That gives you that further confirmation. But we don't technically have confirmation just yet here, at least not for me. So I wouldn't feel comfortable taking a position with Luna Classic right now until it decides and picks a side. It kind of looks like it wants to go up higher though right now, right? Isn't it kind of getting that feeling? Let's see if there's any overextension. Bollinger Bands look pretty good. Volume weight average price well within the standard deviation. So all in all, these are very, very positive signs here. And you can see how the volume weight average price line kind of giving us that green light that the price is going to continue to hold above and it's not going outside of the standard deviation, essentially telling us that it's not overextending itself. It's a healthy continuation of the upside. So again, a lot of healthy qualities here for Luna Classic. Feels kind of strange to say that considering, it's it's history, I guess you could say, but suffice to say, make sure that you are careful and cautious when it comes to trading a coin like this. All coins are getting hammered. Obviously, you probably know that, and to find the ones that are moving independent of Bitcoin is really important. And this one, I think Chili's is another one too as well that's doing fairly well. And it's just interesting to see that kind of behavior, and it's good to kind of anticipate that, right? In other words, when you can identify a coin like this, it's good to kind of trade those coins outside of the traditional markets because, pretty much all you got to do is just short a trade right now and you'll be successful, minus Luna Classic here. This is absolutely not even caring about the bear market. So it's interesting how this works. But obviously some kind of fundamental catalyst. Anyways, enough about that. I tend to kind of continue on ramble sometimes, so I appreciate you listening. That's about all I have here for today. If you're not, currently a community member, CryptoCache.tech is a site. Once again, link in the description below. Feel free to check that out in your own time. Let me know if you have any questions. I have military and third world country discounts, so message me with the contact information below. And just know I'll never solicit or direct message you first, okay? There's a lot of scammers and idiots overall in the comment section, so just please be aware of that. I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day. We'll look forward to seeing the next one. Take care.